Here are the top 10 motocross myths, and we're going to go through each one to see if it really is a myth or if there's some truth to it. I just want to be jacked and ride dirt bikes. Myth number 1, lifting weights will give you more arm pump. So I actually had a conversation with Joe McGinley. He's the guy that you've seen on Pro Motocross talking about his cure for arm pump, that Botox injection. He's one of the leading experts on arm pump, and he agrees with me. The only type of strength training that has a chance to make your arm pump worse is doing things like forearm curls. If you're just using your hands as hooks that hold on to the weight, you're performing what's called an isometric contraction. This means that the length of the muscle isn't changing. You're just squeezing. This type of muscle contraction is good for making your muscles stronger, not bigger. So as long as you're using good technique while you're lifting weights, it will not make your arm pump worse. Myth number 2, all you have to do is ride and you'll be in great shape for motocross. Riding is by far the most important part of your training, and nothing will ever change that, but it doesn't address all aspects of being a physically fit athlete. Riding does a great job of giving you sport-specific cardio. This is high heart rate and high intensity, but it doesn't really give you any low heart rate training that will help build your cardio base, which will enhance your cardio in all other areas. Strength training is also really important so that you can be strong and resistant to injury. In addition to that, having a good warm-up and a good cool-down will help reduce your chances of getting hurt, and it'll also boost your recovery when you're done riding. All of these things you don't get from just riding. Myth number 3, you need to have super strong abs. I hear it so much, how having a strong core is super important for motocross. I'm pretty sure people just say that when they don't know what else to say. Ask yourself this question: have your abs ever been sore after riding? Nope, me either. This means that our abs actually don't play a very big role in our riding. Our lower back, on the other hand, does. That's the other half of our core. And every time I ride, my lower back gets tired and really sore. This tells us that it does play a big role in our riding, and we should spend more time training our lower back than our abs. Myth number 4, suspension doesn't really matter. You should be able to ride whatever you have. At some level, yes, you need to be able to ride what you have. If you're sitting on the gate and in your head you know that you never found that perfect setting, should you still line up and race? Absolutely. However, being comfortable on your bike is absolutely the key to finding that next level of speed. A bike that is violent and unpredictable is impossible to ride smooth and fast. You'll definitely get worse arm pump. You have to always know how your bike is going to react before it actually happens. And if you don't, you're going to back it down, even if it's subconsciously. Myth number 5, you have to ride with other fast guys in order to get better. Ricky Carmichael, the GOAT, trained by himself every day. James Stewart, the fastest man on the planet, rode by himself every day. 2 of arguably the most dominant and fit riders of all time. They didn't train with other fast riders. It was them against themselves and the stopwatch. Now, don't get me wrong, it takes a really high drive to be able to train as hard as possible when you're by yourself, but it can be done. Now, on the other hand, it can absolutely help riding with a bunch of fast guys. I just had a conversation with Cooper Webb, and he said that going to Star Racing Yamaha, the biggest change in his program was how many fast guys he rode with. Every single time they do a moto, it's like a full-blown race. They have like 10, 12 bikes on the track, and they are all flying. So if you have a day where you're just a little bit off, you're going to get your butt kicked. Having that group to always push you absolutely will help you go faster. So on one hand, it is a little bit of a myth. It can be done, but if you're not Ricky Carmichael or James Stewart, maybe riding with a group of fast guys will help you get better, faster. Okay, myth number 6. Lighter is always better when it comes to your body weight. There's a common misconception that being as light as possible will make you faster on the bike. Power to weight ratio, meaning being lighter on a faster bike, does help you. And excessive weight can absolutely slow you down. But focusing only on weight loss can lead to a loss of muscle, which will make you weaker, it's going to hurt your endurance on the bike, and it's going to leave you more susceptible to injury. If you weigh 180 and you're a healthy 180, you're not overweight, you're just tall and lean, losing weight is going to be extremely challenging for you and is borderline dangerous. So if that's you, just move up to the next bike. Don't try to squeeze out one more year in the 125 class. Move up to the bigger bike that's right for your height and your weight, and don't do something drastic that's going to end up getting you sick or maybe even getting you hurt. Myth number 7, strength training will make you too bulky. Some riders avoid strength training because they fear it's going to make them bulky and it's going to slow them down. Look at any bodybuilder that you would classify as being too big. It probably took them the better part of 10 years to get that big. And that's 10 years of every single day, their training, their nutrition, their supplements, their sleep, everything is aimed at the goal of getting bigger. It's not easy to gain muscle, and it doesn't happen by accident. In all reality, strength training, when it's done correctly, should be able to increase your strength, your power, your endurance, make you more resistant to injury, and all of this without adding unnecessary bulk. Myth number 8, All you need is a good bike setup. So of course, another myth is the flip side to the previous myth. All you need is a good suspension setup and you're good to go. A bike that's set up really well is important, but even the best bike setup won't help if the rider isn't physically fit and they're not structuring their training to have moto days, speed days, section days, and skill work. LeBron James didn't get to be one of the best of all time at basketball by buying the best shoes or buying the most expensive basketball. You have to work to master your craft and earn the fitness required to do the job well. Myth number 9, you can't build muscle while riding regularly. So there's a belief out there that gaining muscle while riding frequently is impossible due to the high fatigue that it causes. So I won't lie to you, it's extremely challenging. But with a well-structured program, you should be able to gain strength and muscle size while still performing at a high level on the bike. It just may not happen in the way that you necessarily want it to. During a traditional bulk, you're lifting 4 to 6 times a week and you're trying to gain as much size as possible in a shorter, maybe 12 to 16 week block. Yes, this is going to be extremely challenging because you're going to be sore all the time. Your nervous system is going to be really tired, so your muscles aren't going to be able to work as well as they possibly could, and this is going to affect your riding. So a better approach is maybe lifting weights 1 to 2 times a week, hitting full body each session, and then doing this approach year round. Yes, you'll gain less muscle in the short term, but in the long term, you'll just keep getting more and more jacked year after year, and you can do it without sacrificing your performance on the bike. Myth number 10, if you want to do cardio for motocross, it has to be cycling. Cycling is a popular choice for motocross because it's low impact and doesn't do a lot of damage to the body that you have to recover from, but it still activates the cardio system and works the cardio system in a really powerful way. However, to say that that's the only way to get it done is a huge stretch. The best cardio for you to do is the type that you enjoy and the type that you will stick to consistently. If you absolutely hate cycling, why would you tell yourself that you have to cycle for 4 to 6 hours a week? If you like to run, go for a run. If you like to swim, go swim. Rowing, it's all good. The one thing that I will say is that the more muscles you involve at once, the better the cardio. And usually low impact activities like cycling or swimming or rowing, they tend to be better because you won't actually get sore from your cardio, and this allows you to train harder on the bike when you do ride. If this video taught you something about motocross training that you maybe didn't know before, consider hitting that like button or subscribing to the channel so you can stay up to date on the latest training information. So now that we've smashed the myth about strength training being bad for you and you're gonna get too bulky, if you're ready to get started, watch this video next. It's a full body strength workout that I take you through personally. I'll see you there.